Security agencies are keeping vigilance to deter smugglers. In another round of seizures, the Apapa command of the Nigeria Customs Service intercepted 7 containers carrying expired drugs, 12,000 pieces of cutlasses and machetes, as well as 4,129 packages of frozen chicken imported into the country. The Customs Area Controller of Apapa Command, Babatunde Olomu, said the seizures valued at about 292.24 million naira are in line with the policy thrust of Controller General of Customs on zero tolerance for smuggling. In the same vein, the Cross River and Akwa Ibom Command intercepted 26,625 liters of petrol at different locations, valued at 40.05 million naira. The seizures were made at the Zone C axis by a special task force called Operation Whirlwind. Let's share the story by TVC News. Ifunaya is it with you.
Showcasing the seized containers of thousands of machetes and expired medicaments, Comptroller Babatunde Olomu stated that the items violate the revised import prohibition list and the Nigeria Customs Service Act of 2023, lacking proper import procedures and end-user certification.
12,000 cutlasses. I wonder the kind of farming that that will be put into. So that's why things like this, importation like this, require end-user certificates issued from the Office of the National Security Advisor. You know, there are security challenges here and there, and the government will want to be sure that the purposes for which these weapons, these cutlasses are being put into are the ones that satisfy the law.
Explaining how the containers of frozen poultry products were intercepted, Comptroller Olomu highlighted how the deployment of customs advanced tools and intelligence collaboration with other agencies aided in tracking the shipments from their points of origin.
It beats my imagination while someone will invest his money in the purchase of frozen poultry product that had spent like 1 year. If you check the manufacturing date, since it was produced, it's close to a year. So you now wonder why Nigerians will wish to patronize this kind of product. So government in its wisdom banned the importation of frozen poultry. One, because of the health hazard it poses to the citizens, and secondly, to encourage local production.
Handing the seized consignments over to officers from the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency and the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control for further investigation and regulatory action, Comptroller Olomu warned that only cargoes meeting integrity and compliance parameters will be allowed through Nigeria's ports. Ifunanya Eze.
The seizure, worth over 40 million naira, was made by operatives of Operation Whirlwind, a joint effort between the Nigeria Customs Service, the Office of the National Security Advisor, and the Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. Comptroller Hussaini Ejibono revealed that operatives closely monitor the supply and distribution chain of petroleum products to prevent diversion.
Today, we have another seizure of 1,065 kegs of PMS containing 25 liters each, which translates into 26,625 liters of PMS, together with one means of conveyance, with a total DPV value of 40,054,125 naira only.
This vigilance led to seizures in multiple locations across Agbaragba-Ekom, Akansoka Road, and Ekom-Ogojo Road, despite challenging riverine terrains in the South and South 8 region. Earlier, Comptroller Cross River Akwa Ibom Free Trade Zone Area Command Zone C's Chukwudi Ogbonna emphasized the command's robust synergy with surrounding communities. He commended the collaborative efforts which have yielded remarkable successes over the years.
The communities, we try to sensitize them. We try to tell them the effect of this smuggling, what happens to the country. Then we try to build community social responsibility.
The Nigeria Customs Service has warned members of the smuggling cartels to desist from their illegal activities and engage in legitimate businesses, vowing to continue to go after them as economic saboteurs.
We urge members of the PMS smuggling cartel to have a rethink and better go into legitimate businesses, because we will continue to go after them as economic saboteurs, as there is no place for illegal activities.
These later seizures comes barely 2 weeks after inauguration of the special operation on 31st May 2024. Tina Akweke, TVC News, Calabar.
All right, gentlemen, two different reports here. BKO, but really, who patronizes expired products?
Oh, of course, you won't know it's expired. These things are sometimes repackaged, and then sold to people. Sometimes people buy stuff without, even drugs, without expiry dates on them, as a way of wrong-footing the buyer. So nobody would deliberately buy and consume something that he knows can take his life. But the people buy turkey, for example, frozen turkey. How many of them do their research to know whether what they sold to them is a year old? You see the women cutting it, they tear the pack, they tear the carton, they start cutting. You don't ask questions. You don't tell them, give me the pack, let me see what's on it. You don't ask those questions. You don't. If you say you do, you are lying. You don't. We just buy straight from them. We don't know. We don't ask questions. They send bags of rice to Nigeria. Some of those bags had been in their warehouses for more than 3 years. In their country, they do not permit people to consume such rice. They send such rice to their feed mills, and they will now be used for animal feed. But they send it to Nigeria. We consume it. We are excited that we are consuming foreign rice, whereas what you are actually consuming is poison, because it's been there for too long. And that is what this customs controller is saying, that how do you sell frozen food 3 years old from the day it was produced to the ordinary Nigerian? People would do all kinds of things to make money in our country. And even frozen foods have been banned because government thought, okay, if we ban it, we'll be able to deepen production in our country. Because Nigeria is the hub in West Africa. Go to Ibadan. That is the hub for poultry production in our country. And all of those big companies, the rest of them, they are there. Ajanla, all of them. Ibadan is their home. That is the hub. Some are setting up bases even in Iwo now, because our country is the hub for poultry production on the West Coast. But importation, unrestrained importation, would make life difficult for people who are involved in local production. And that's why textile farms found it difficult to survive, because in the past we had those textile farms. You go to Kaduna, people like Oshomole, he was a textile worker. Yes. I did my youth service in Kaduna and I started work there. I remember when Oshomole was at Arewa Tex, and sometimes he would come to our office to say, please, help me use this story. Wow. Yes. There was a picture that a friend of mine said he would send to me, that Oshomole and myself and one other person snapped together in 1992. So he was making fun of me that if I see the picture, I won't believe it's me. I'm waiting for him to send that picture. But today, those textile farms are dead. They are dead. Kakuri in Kaduna was like a city created for textile workers. I lived there. People resident in that area were either staff of KTL, staff of UNTL, or staff of Arewa Tex. Today, where are those textile farms that provided jobs for people? Textile farms that after government, after the federal and state governments, they contributed the highest number of employed people. Where are they? They are dead because the friends of people in government, I remember challenging Dangote. I said, I think it was in 2013, I said, your textile farm was the 4th biggest in Nigeria. Why did you suddenly shut it down? He laughed. He said, I thought you were my friend. That the friends of the biggest smugglers in our country are in government. So nobody tried to stop them from bringing in foreign textiles, voiles, and the rest of them. And they made life unbearable for local producers of textile. Today, where are the textile farms? In Kaduna Polytechnic, where I did my youth service, I taught HND1 textile technology. Because at that time, there was employment for people seeking to go into textile production. So those who read textile technology, the jobs were waiting. I taught that class. I taught them general studies. Today, the textile farms are gone. Their warehouses, in some cases, have been taken over by churches. Warehouses of big companies today in Nigeria, churches have bought them. You know? So that's why we are where we are. We cannot continue. And the rate at which PMS is being smuggled in our country, I'm truly worried. There is scarcity in some places, scarcity that is pushing the price of PMS to go up. It is because some people have seen now that the CFA is stronger than the Naira. So they are now involved in the, massive smuggling of PMS because they will make more money across the border. Because our currency is weak. Our currency is weak. So if you are selling it here at maximum 800, they are going to sell at 1,200 to our neighbors. That is what is going on. You can see the rate at which they are seizing kegs of petrol. We didn't have it about 4 months ago.
That's correct.
It is. It has a link with the depreciation of our currency on a scale that none of us could have predicted. I never thought, and I've said it before on this program, that a day will come that the CFA will be stronger than my country's currency. It's something that puts me to shame personally. And I expect the people at CBN, whose job it is to sort out issues like this, to do something about it. Why should the Naira be going to 1,600 Naira to $1? That's why people are shipping our grains across the border. You go to Yobe, go to Katsina, all of these border states with Niger Republic, they are taking our grains across the border, and you are saying food is expensive. It's not simply because of insecurity alone. The fact that people know that they will make more money by taking grains across the border, it has really caused so much smuggling of farm produce. So we need to sort out even the matter of our currency. Okay. It will reduce the hunger to take Nigerian products across the border. And these things, the government has banned, for example, taking grains across the border. But our people think that they will make more money, so they will need some stopping. Because they know they will make a lot of money if they can do it. All right,
Adeoye. So while you react to that report, BQ has raised so many issues now. Our love for foreign goods at the detriment of our own, and smugglers in power. We will continue to do everything possible to frustrate local producers.
Yes. I think, first of all, we need to commend the efforts of Alhaji Bachi Adewale Adeniyi, the Comptroller General of Customs. I can see that almost every month there are reports. Of course, his predecessor also did well, Colonel Ali. He did very well. And I think he has sustained that tempo. You recall that in 2002 he was conferred with the Order of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, member of the Order of the Federal Republic by President Buhari. Because earlier in 2020, he was the one that supervised the discovery for about $8 million cash that some people wanted to take out of Nigeria through the wing of Murtala Mohammed Airport. So I think he has a very good record, and it's showing clearly, just as what you are seeing in NDLA, that Marwa is doing. So it shows clearly that if you do put the right people in the right place, you are going to get results. So, and he said that they use diligent enforcement and intelligence in order to be able to discover some of these things that they are seeing. And some few months ago, when he came to power, he said he was going to work with local communities for intelligence. And I think we are seeing that result. So I'm convinced that if you have good people, put them in a position of power, they'll be able to help the country to overcome some of our problems. What we have seen clearly is that 12,000 cutlasses brought from China. I'm still wondering what is the mission of those who brought those cutlasses. And then the drugs were brought in from India. And then Turkey, 4,129 packages from Turkey, frozen chicken. You see, what usually happens to this frozen chicken, that they will inject them with a lot of chemicals that can cause a lot of, with very harmful implications for human health, including cancer. So, and there's no way you will know when you go to the market to buy some of these products. And that's why people who do this, just like Babajide said, when they bring these expired drugs, they are very harmful. And that's how you find out that you have malaria. You begin to use medicine for a whole month. It refuses to go.
To use it,
They start wondering that what is the problem. So it's a kind of, it's more or less like, almost equal to genocide, because thousands of, hundreds of thousands of people will, use these drugs that are expired. So I think I'm happy with the job the Comptroller General of Customs is doing. We need to encourage him. We need to give him more support. Working within a very difficult environment. Nigeria has about 86 borders that are manned, and about 86 land borders, and then 14 seaports that are manned. We have about 1,400 unmanned illegal routes. So it's working within a very difficult environment. In spite of that, you can see that it's making gains. Yes. So I think it needs our support. I'm happy with what the good job it is doing. And I think it's a huge asset to this government, because customs is very strategic to national security. This is where people bring in arms, bring in all sorts of deadly weapons, and for them to even
national income too.
Yeah, national income to the economy, to politics, to security. If people have the confidence to bring in these things through the cost, that means that it's what they have been doing in the past, and they feel that, look, when we get there, we're going to buy our way. But I think things are changing now. There's not going to be business as usual. So I commend his efforts, and I think Nigerians should give him more support.
And even his staff, say, looking into his eyes, sometimes you know that he's not prepared to take an excuse from you. So he naturally gets the best out of them, because they know that his standard is high. They know that only the best will please him. So they are also doing their best, and I think the customs is in good hands, no doubt about it. And I'm really pleased with the progress that they are making. We just hope that this continues.